Hey, Lily. What's the deal? I heard from Rodney that you're ditching the whole IVF thing. Is that true?
Hey, Amanda. Long time no see. Yeah, Rodney spilled the beans correctly. We're pulling the plug on the IVF treatment.
Why, though? You've been at it since you tied the knot. Why throw in the towel now? Don't you want kids?
We've been at this for ages, but we haven't made any progress. It's just been draining us physically, mentally, and financially. IVF doesn't come cheap, and we finally decided it wasn't worth the toll it was taking. It was a tough call, believe me.
I get that. But seriously, if you stop now, who knows if you'll ever get another shot? You guys aren't getting any younger. Time's ticking away, Lily. You can't be trying to get pregnant forever. Sure, it's tough now, but it'll be downright impossible if you wait too long. How will you feel knowing that if you stuck with the treatment, there might have been a chance?
I know that. Trust me, Amanda. We've already been over everything you're saying more times than you know. But we decided this is for the best.
Well, I won't go along with it. I simply will not. If you don't have kids, my son will be the last generation of this family. Are you trying to exterminate my bloodline?
Exterminate your bloodline? Jesus, Amanda. Where the hell did that come from? I didn't have a toothbrush mustache the last time I checked, but being serious, we plan on looking into other alternatives. Having kids yourself isn't the only way, you know. There's always adoption or fostering.
No, 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 no! That's simply no good. It's a wife's job to bear children.
Look, Amanda, I understand how you feel. You're my mom-in-law and you want grandkids. I get it, I really do. And it's not like we didn't try. We tried so hard, but my body seems totally unwilling to work with us. And there's only so much stress we can take. I'm begging you, please, will you try to understand? This isn't easy for us either, you know?
No way. It's too early to give up. At least carry on with the treatment for another year.
But we've been doing it for years and years. By this point, we can't take any more. A year's worth of treatment is expensive. To be honest with you, it just feels like we are throwing our money down the drain. We want to start putting it to better use on other things.
Other things? Such as?
Well, for starters, if we do end up adopting or fostering, it's going to cost us a lot. So we'd like to put most of that money towards that.
Just wait a second. How could you be so selfish? I can't believe what I'm hearing. Why does this conversation seem to be going forward on the assumption that you have my approval to adopt? Let me make one thing crystal clear, Missy. You do not. How can you even call yourself a woman if you're incapable of having children?
I'd appreciate it if you didn't say stuff like that. I can still become a mother without having kids of my own. Besides, you speak as if a woman's only value is her womb. I don't mean to be rude, but this isn't the Bronze Age.
Don't get cheeky with me, young lady. I'm airing a legitimate grievance with your irresponsible decision, and you will take me seriously. You should know that I no longer acknowledge you as my daughter-in-law if you go through with this. If you can't have kids, there's no reason to keep you around. And we don't need you in this house for a second longer. Divorce my son immediately.
Wow, are you joking? We're not getting a divorce. Why would we do that?
Because you decided not to have children. Why wouldn't you divorce? Step aside gracefully so someone more capable can take your place. My son should be married to a woman who can bear children, not a barren wasteland like you. You're damaged goods.
And you're more horrible than I thought. Me and Rodney love each other. Whether we can have kids or not, he and I agreed to stop the IVF treatment together.
Knowing my Rodney, he's probably just pretending to go along with it because he's kind. Deep down, he wants kids more than anything. It must be so difficult for him to hide his disappointment with you. My poor son. You probably make him feel awkward about talking about how he really feels. or like he'll get shouted at if he tells the truth. How could you make him tolerate such an awful situation? You're the worst wife of all time.
Did Rodney say that to you? He didn't, did he? He's not pretending to go along with anything. How about you stop dictating to me about how you think things must be based on your own warped assumptions about the world and accept what I'm telling you at face value?
How dare you speak to me like that, you insolent little upstart? I'm your husband's mother. I know my son better than anyone else in the world.
We are not getting a divorce, and that's final. This is mine and Rodney's problem, so whether it's the kids or the treatment that may or may not enable us to have kids, it's for me and Rodney to decide on our own. Rodney told me you and him had a little chat last night.
Yes, we spoke. What of it?
Do you understand now? Because you were vehemently opposed to the idea of us stopping treatment when I told you yesterday.
Rodney told me you both made your decision after a lengthy discussion.
Right. And he made it clear it was his decision as much as it was mine, didn't he?
He did say that. He also told me that he has no intention of divorcing you.
Okay, so do you finally accept it now? But having kids isn't everything to us. And just because we can't have children doesn't mean that we're going to divorce. We mean more to each other than that. And there's more to life than just having kids.
Don't worry, Lily. I understand perfectly. You've got my son wrapped around your little finger, and he's no longer capable of independent thought.
Excuse me? Wrapped around my little finger? What's that supposed to mean?
You know, I couldn't get my head around it when you told me. It just didn't make any sense. What man in their right mind would be okay with his wife not being able to give him children? That's simply not how the world works. When you get down to brass tacks, the ultimate purpose of a married couple is to produce children. Why do you think marriage exists in the first place?
Wrapped around my little finger? What's that supposed to mean? Least of all me and Rodney.
This isn't my world. This is common sense, you cheeky little madam.
Common sense? Common among you and your friends from the bingo hall, maybe. Sure, there are a lot of older folk who still think that way. But it's 2024 now, and the world is changing. You're wrong if you think that's how most people think I mean. Come on, Amanda. There are tons of couples out there who've been together decades with no kids. It's pretty obvious that not everyone agrees with your worldview.
You're wrong. I've never seen anyone be this wrong about something before. It's embarrassing.
Would you please calm down? Rodney himself just explained the situation to you. He told you this is what he wants. What more can we even say to you at this point?
You've brainwashed him with your devious wiles. That's the only possible explanation for him speaking such nonsense. It has to be. It has to be.
Gah. You still don't get it. I could forgive you for being misunderstood before he set you straight, but I can't give you the benefit of the doubt anymore. This is beyond ridiculous. Just accept what we're telling you and let's be done with this fiasco already.
You shut your insolent mouth. My son would never agree to something like that if he's had his head screwed on properly. He's been brainwashed. I should have never agreed to let him marry you. I have to save my son from your evil clutches.
By that, I take it. You mean you want to cause him a bunch of unnecessary stress by trying to convince him to divorce me? Do you have any idea how upset he'll be if you carry on acting like such an obstinate blockhead? We've been through enough lately, Amanda. The last thing we need is you bothering us with your absurd demands.
You've got some nerve to claim to care about my Rodney being upset when you've manipulated him into being your subservient little yes man. You may as well have his manhood in a jar. That poor boy. I'm trying to save him from your clutches here.
Wow, it's patently obvious this conversation is pointless. I may as well be talking to a brick wall. Actually, no, that would be an insult to brick walls. I've heard all I need to hear. You have no intention of listening to what either of us have to say. Fine. Forget it. We don't need your understanding or acceptance.
Who do you think you are? Don't be so selfish. What makes you think you call the shots here anyway? I won't let you get away with what you're doing. You've got another thing coming if you think this is the end of this, madam.
If you're just going to keep talking at me while ignoring everything I say, then what's the point in us even talking at all? This is a waste of everyone's time. We're done talking to you. If you really care about Rodney, you'll accept that the best thing for us to do right now is to keep as much distance from you as possible.
What are you talking about? Distance? Are you threatening me?
I'm not threatening you. We're just making the only decision you've left us with. We're going to be keeping our distance from you for the time being, or at least until you demonstrate to us that there's any value in talking to you. Rodney and I always knew we might have to do this one day. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. We knew that if you couldn't understand and accept our decision, we'd have no choice but to keep a healthy distance from you to preserve our sanity.
What? Oh my god. So let me get this straight. Not only do you attempt to exterminate my bloodline by refusing to provide me with grandchildren, but now you're trying to snatch my own son away from me? You horrify me. Is there anything you're not capable of?
You can think what you like of me. It's not my problem anymore.
Who the hell do you think you are? You've gotten so big for your boots. You think you can steal my own son from me? You've got another thing coming if you think you're getting away with this, Missy. Hello, Lily. I heard someone attacked you and you got seriously injured. I hate to say I told you so, but this must be the universe's way of telling you to change your ways. Karma's a bitch, huh?
I see you heard the news. Yes, I got attacked near the house. Whoever it was had some kind of baseball bat.
How terrifying. There are some real lunatics on the streets these days. Did anything get stolen?
Yes, they took my purse.
Ah, so it was a robbery then? But why on earth did they have to hurt you if all they wanted was your money? How barbaric. I can't believe this kind of thing would happen in our neighborhood. It never used to be like this around here. The world's going to the dogs, I tell you.
Right. You see it on the news all the time, but you never think it's going to happen to you.
Well, how are your injuries?
The doctors tell me they'll take 3 months to heal. My legs are fine, other than a few grazes from when I hit the ground. So thankfully I can still walk, but there's a big crack in my left wrist bone.
I see. Well, it could be worse, I suppose. You should be grateful you can walk, my dear. Life on crutches would have been a nightmare.
Sure, I'm grateful it's not worse, but having a broken wrist isn't exactly fun, you know? I'm left-handed, so I can't even do simple things like cooking my own food or getting dressed on my own anymore.
I'm so sorry to hear that, dear. How awful. You poor thing. This couldn't have happened to a lovelier person. I hope they catch the guy who did it soon.
Thanks for your kind words, Amanda. But you don't need to worry one bit. They'll be arresting my attacker any minute now.
Wait, what? They're going to arrest him? You mean they already know who did it? But I thought you said you didn't get a good look at his face.
No, I didn't. But I know where she lives. Not long now. I'm outside my attacker's house with the cops as we speak.
Huh? Now? Where are you?
Like I just told you, outside my attacker's house. The kind of deranged lunatic who'd attack someone with a bat as they walked home needs to be taken off the streets and thrown in jail immediately. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yes, of course I agree. But do they really know who did it? How?
They found a clue.
A clue? What kind of clue? Surveillance cameras? Witnesses?
What's wrong, Amanda? You're asking an awful lot of questions all of a sudden. You seem agitated. Is there something bothering you? Something you'd like to share, maybe?
I'm not agitated. I'm just curious about who did it. It's only natural. I'd be worried if there was some lunatic roaming around the neighborhood with a bat. I might be in danger.
They couldn't figure out who it was from the surveillance cam footage. They were crafty enough to wear a hood, and they took a route with no cameras when they escaped. The cops said it was either the fluke of a lifetime, or it was someone with a pretty intimate knowledge of our neighborhood. They said they think it was a planned attack, but my purse that got stolen turned out to be the ultimate clue.
Your purse?
I totally forgot about this. But Rodney reminded me after we got done with my x-rays and getting patched up by the nurses at the hospital, I have a loss prevention tag in my purse.
A loss prevention tag? What's that?
It's like a GPS kind of thing. I bought a couple, actually. I have one clipped to the inside of my purse and another in my phone case. I can activate it with this little button on my keyring, as well as with an app on my phone. I'm so forgetful I'd forget my head if it wasn't screwed on. Rodney got me a bunch of them for Christmas a few years back. They're so handy. I can't tell you how many times they've saved my butt.
Wait, do you mean you figured out where your attacker lives using this tracking device?
Bingo! We were able to pinpoint exactly where she lives. Isn't modern technology amazing? That's why you don't need to worry yourself one bit. My attacker will be in jail before you know it. And the neighborhood will be safe once more. Wait a sec. You wouldn't happen to be worried for a different reason, would you? Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe you'd be in trouble if my attacker got caught or something crazy like that? Amanda, are you there? How long do you plan on holding yourself up in the house? I really think you should come out soon.
You need to do something about the cops surrounding the place before I think about setting foot out there. There will be a big ruckus if I come out. And that's the last thing either I or the neighbors need.
Are you blind? There's already a big ruckus. Look at all the patrol cars. The neighbors are already out in droves. Haven't you seen the crowds? Everyone's wondering why there are so many cops outside your house. But don't worry, if you come out, things will calm down right away and everyone can get back to their normal lives.
No, 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 no! I can't! You need to do something about the cops surrounding the place before I think about setting foot out there. There's a limit to how much embarrassment one person can take.
But these lovely policemen would really like to have a chat with you, Amanda. They're here to arrest you, after all, because you're a violent criminal.
What? Who's a violent criminal?
You, obviously.
Me? Violent? I don't have a violent bone in my body. And I resent the accusation. I am your mother-in-law, young lady. Don't be so rude.
But Amanda, you came at me from behind with a baseball bat and beat the crap out of me before I even had a chance to figure out what was going on. If that's not violent, then what is? We can go with barbaric or savage instead, if you like. The bottom line is that you broke the law in my wrist, and you're going to face the consequences.
Lies. There's no guarantee that this GPS tag of yours is accurate. Technology malfunctions all the time. Give me definite proof or stop making these hurtful accusations at once. You're upsetting me.
Definitive proof? Okay, you asked for it.
Huh?
I just had a look through the garden shed. Guess what I found? The bat you used to beat me black and blue with. What would an old lady living on her own need a baseball bat for? It seems suspicious if you ask me. I think we should have the forensic guys test it out.
That's, Rodney's old bat from back in the day. I came across it when I was cleaning out the shed last week. The only reason I left it leaning against the wall like that was because I was getting ready to throw it out.
Really? Cool story, Amanda. Want to know something else weird? There's this dark red stuff all over it. It's my blood, isn't it? I think this just about covers our definitive proof, don't you? So what's it going to be? Something tells me the cops. Patience is gonna run out if you keep insisting on keeping yourself holed up in there for much longer.
I'm no criminal. I haven't done anything that warrants me being arrested.
So that's what you're sticking to, huh? I see you just broke the tag, didn't you? Do you not realize it's a little too late? There's nothing you can do to escape the hell that's about to come down on you. I at least thought you'd be intelligent enough to know when to give up, but I was obviously wrong.
Are you calling me stupid? How dare you?
Forgive me. I accidentally said what I really think of you.
Do not make fun of me, young lady. This is not a joke.
Your life is one big joke. How can I not make fun of you? Not liking me doesn't give you the right to use violence to beat me into submission with a baseball bat. These aren't the actions of someone with a brain, Amanda. Aside from being wrong on every level, it was completely moronic and borderline psychopathic. You don't get to act like a cave-dwelling savage and not face the consequences.
All I wanted to do was take back my son after you stole him from me. You heartless little witch. I was a mother in pain. Was what I did really so wrong? Anyone would have done what I did in my position. You needed to learn a lesson, so I taught you one.
So you did this for Rodney? Something tells me he didn't want you to beat the crap out of his wife. He couldn't be more furious with you. In fact, I've never seen him this mad.
Wait, what? Is Rodney here too?
Yes. He's talking to the police at the moment. He told them to do whatever it takes to arrest you, even if that means using force. You've got another thing coming. If you think he's going to defend you. He wants you in the back of one of those cop cars more than anyone. He said you need to pay the price for what you did.
No! This can't be happening. My son would never say that.
Oh, by the way, there's something I forgot to tell you. A few days ago, me and Ronnie decided we were going to adopt. We've been making phone calls to all the local orphanages. It looks like we're going to be able to have our family after all.
This is all your fault for not being able to have children. None of this would be happening if you didn't have a barren wasteland for a womb. If you didn't tell me all that nonsense about adopting or fostering, I never would have had to buy that baseball bat.
You might not be blood related, but any children we adopt would have been your grandkids. But we don't have any intention of letting you meet them now. Far from it. We're not even going to tell them you exist. I can't think of a single benefit of them knowing about someone as horrible and black-hearted as you. We're washing our hands of you. No matter what happens to you from here on out, it's not our problem. We'll never be there for you again. Not now, not ever.
You mean you're hanging me out to dry?
I wouldn't put it that way. I'd say it's more like we're having a tumor removed. Anyway, this wasn't my idea. It was Rodney's.
There's no way he'd ever say that. Stop lying to me, Lily. You're sick.
I'm guessing you stole my purse to make it look like a robbery. You probably thought that you were really clever by covering your tracks like that, didn't you? I bet you didn't think it'd come back to bite you in the ass this hard. It's time to come out of the house and face the music.
You shut your mouth. This is all your fault. It's all your fault. I'll tell you. You'll pay for this.
You wouldn't believe some of the rumors going around the neighborhood about you, Amanda. You really are the talk of the town. I doubt you're going to have any allies left when you get out of prison. I hope you're good at being on your own, because something tells me you're going to have a very lonely, isolated future ahead of you. You deserve every second of it, of course.
Oh my God. How could you do this to me? I'm the victim in all of this. You stole my son.
You called me an evil witch. But judging from some of the conversations I'm hearing out here, the public consensus is that you're the evil one. Rodney and I don't want anything more to do with you. We are so done. You said I was damaged goods, but from where I'm standing, the only damaged one here is you. And I mean that on a deep psychological level. We'd have to be insane to carry on letting you play a part in our lives. See ya! Not long after that, Amanda showed up at our doorstep, accepting her fate, and got whisked away in the back of a cop car right in front of the whole neighborhood. She had a hard time during a super fast trial. The case was a no-brainer since my blood was all over the baseball bat I found in her shed. She only had one visitor, some reporter from a local newspaper who wanted to write a piece about the whole mess. True to her usual self, she desperately tried to defend herself and play the victim during the interview. I bet she actually thought she could convince the reporter in the world that she was innocent. But when the article finally came out, it made her look like the worst kind of crazy. The headline read, "Baseball bat-wielding maniac mother-in-law from hell," and it tore her apart, exposing her as the deranged lunatic she truly is. Her feeble attempts to prove her innocence just made her look even worse. Once she was locked up, Rodney and I hightailed it out of there to another state where she'd never find us. We decided to adopt our first child, a little angel named Mary. She's the cutest thing you'll ever see. It's a bummer we couldn't have our own biological kids, but you know what they say, every cloud has a silver lining. And in our case, it was because we couldn't have our own that we were lucky enough to meet and have Mary in our lives. Fate works in mysterious ways, and even though it hasn't been smooth sailing, Rodney and I are nothing but grateful for the blessings life has brought us.